So welcome to this first episode of 5 in 5. This is hosted by myself, Richard Eglon. I'm the CMO at Nebula Global Services. And Nebula are running an initiative called ESG Unwrapped. And part of that initiative, which has been running probably for the last sort of 18 months, is a new video series. So the 5 in 5 is 5 questions and 5 answers by somebody who's a leader and a passionate advocate of ESG in their own field. So we'll be covering a number of topics over the next few episodes. But I'm delighted to say the first one, the inaugural one we're kicking off, is around social mobility. And social mobility is a very passionate topic to this individual. So I'd like to welcome you to Yvonne Matzk.
Thanks, Richard. Thank you for welcoming me and on the first one, so no pressure.
I'm sure you'll be fine, Yvonne. I'm sure you'll be fine. So obviously, before we start the clock, if you like, just to help the viewers, the whole part of this is touching on some key topics under social mobility in this case. But the idea of this is for people to obviously reach out to yourself afterwards, should they have any more questions, or to myself, and we just want to get some sort of real key topics shared, via video and via this format. And I think the 5 in 5 gives us enough time to do it, but more importantly, it gives the listener time to listen to it. So, because we're all very busy. So thank you for that. So without further ado, what I'd like to go into is the first question. So obviously, when you set up Coachere, your sort of coaching and consulting business back in 2020, what made you go down that road, if you like, from full-time employment that you were in previously?
So I obviously left 2020, right at the start of COVID, not anticipated. But during that time, realised that I actually like the flexibility of being at home. Always wanted to explore coaching. Took a course, fell in love with it, and thought, oh my goodness, if I can fully qualify and do this, I can help way more people as a coach than I can just going back to a large corporate. And so that's what I did. Retrained, became qualified, and started Coachere in the October.
Fantastic. So I suppose since starting Coachere, and you're now going into, I guess you've done 5th year really now, and what has gathered your interest over that time in social mobility?
So it was actually with a friend of mine who has a consultancy practice herself, and she does a lot of work on D&I, and she knew my background, and she asked me to appear on one of her webinars that she was delivering for her clients. And it was during that webinar, I uncovered some stats that once you find out about them, you can't unsee them or unhear them. And the first one was the class pay gap, and I was just like, this is so not fair. And I think that was the spark that lit the fire that then got me researching even more about the inadequacies and the inconsistencies and unfairness of the whole thing. So it was actually a friend of mine that sparked my curiosity and passion.
That's great. And I guess that's where a lot of things start, right? Is with other people, and that segues quite nicely into the next question around the channel community, which obviously you're the founder of. And have you found being involved with the channel community giving you more access to a broader aspects of social mobility, if you like, speaking to people in that network?
Yeah, absolutely. I think from both doing the podcast that we've done, but also because of our partnership with the Social Mobility Foundation, and getting to understand the great work that they do, but also some of the data points around things like only 9% of individuals from low socioeconomic backgrounds come in the tech industry, making it even more important that we try and align and do some work where we can all positively influence that.
Sure. And I think that's a really important factor, and we've discussed it before, and you've discussed it with a number of others across the channel. But what are some of the key characteristics that you've seen in people who've come from that low socioeconomic background in terms of and how they've sort of overcome those challenges and succeeded and come through the other end, if you like?
Yeah, so I think the thing that consistently comes out, there's some positives and there's some not so positives. For me, seeing that the work ethic and resilience are the two areas that come out consistently positive. So people are born with this natural work ethic to want to work because they have no choice. If you want something, you have to work for it, and that's just instilled from the day one. There is no other option. And the second part of that is the resilience that comes with that, the grit, the continually being used to being put down or adversity, builds this strong sense of resilience and grit that you just don't see in people that have not experienced that.
Sure.
So they're the positives. I think the one thing that consistently comes up across all the individuals that I've spoken to is they sadly don't value themselves in the same way that people from more privileged upbringings do. And I think that's probably an indicator of why we have things like the class pay gap, because people just don't ask for more money. So yeah, I think so for positive resilience, grit and work ethic, and not so positive is the value in themselves.
It's really insightful and interesting. And I think obviously the for all the social mobility piece is companies can obviously support making a positive impact on that, right? And so in the case of the tech channel where we reside, what are three key takeaways would you share with companies that can really make a difference when it comes to social mobility?
So I think the first one would be to sign up on the Employer Index, which is out now, which is something that the Social Mobility Foundation does. It helps you gather the data needed to make informed decisions over the people that are within your organisation, and also they offer support and advice on how you can improve those points. The second one would be to make yourself accessible and make organisations or schools known that you are a social mobility employer, and that, by outreach programs or working with the local councils. And then the third one, I would just say, once people are in your organisation, once you've attracted them and you've got them in, make sure that you support them, because if I think of all the challenges that I've faced throughout my career, and again, this is something that was consistent in all the conversations, you just don't know what rules are.
Yes.
You just, how to navigate those corporate corridors is quite, can be quite challenging for some. So just making sure that you're aware of that and offering the right level of support for the people once they're there.
Fantastic. Thank you, Yvonne. That was really, really helpful. And I'm sure people will pick up on a number of those points after they listen to this podcast. But more importantly, obviously, you're accessible for further conversation should anybody want to reach out to you as well, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't forget, there's the channel community as well, that have always got a number of individuals that have got a lot of experience across all the areas of ESG, that are also available to help and support you on your journey.
No, that's fantastic. Well, I think we might have gone over the 5 minutes with it being the first one, but I'm sure people will be fine with that. And as I say, I'm looking forward to sort of continuing the discussion around social mobility with yourself and the channel community. And thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Richard. It's been great.